Yo, what's good? I'm going to talk about the path from your song to go from an independent release to a global hit on Spotify. It's actually a more specific path than you might think, and a lot of it's based on AI. The first thing you need to realize when you're releasing music on Spotify is that it's a publicly traded company. They need to be able to present good data to their investors about how many people are on the platform and how long they're using it for. And the way they're going to do this is by feeding you music that has the highest possible chance of keeping you on there. And they've gotten insanely good at this. They're more of a data analytics company than anything else. Spotify analyzes all of the data they possibly can. Saves, skips, how long you listen to a song, when you share a song, when you follow the artist while listening to a song, when you add a song to your playlist, and much more. But two of the most important metrics are the saves to listeners ratio and the skips to listeners ratio. They're the clearest indicators of whether people are liking your song or not. And that data is used to funnel your song through the playlist world. There are only a few main entry points into this playlist world. They're what I call the onboarding playlists. These are things like New Music Friday, Release Radar, and Friday Crate Diggers. Now, to get onto these playlists, you can submit your track through the Spotify for Artists dashboard, but as you can imagine, they get an insane amount of submissions. So first, an algorithm has to sort through all of the upcoming releases for a given week. And they have to look at things like how many followers an artist has, how their past releases have done, what genre the song is, and more. Now, there are human editors involved in finalizing these onboarding playlists, but they can't really do their job without the help of the algorithms just because there's so many tracks out there every single week. So let's look at the path for a potential electronic track to become a global hit. First, you submit your song to the Spotify for Artists dashboard, and because some of your past songs have done all right, it goes up near the top of the list of releases that week that the head of dance music playlisting, Austin Kramer, can see. So he'll approve your song to go on Friday Crate Diggers, which is a playlist that showcases the best new electronic tracks of each week. Now, the first week of your release is by far the most important. The algorithm will take in all the key metrics we talked about and know exactly what the best performing songs are. If your song has better metrics than most of the other songs on that playlist, then it can go on to be featured in a lot of people's Discover Weekly playlists. This is a personalized algorithmic playlist, so everyone's Discover Weekly is unique to what they like. If your track does well in Discover Weekly over the next couple weeks, it could get put in bigger playlists based on genre and mood. This could be something like Deep House Relax or Warehouse Party. In each of these playlists, you're still competing against every other song on there. If your track is in the top of the metrics, then you'll probably keep moving on to bigger playlists. But if it's not, then you'll get pushed out of the whole playlisting system soon enough. Let's say your track becomes the most liked song on the Deep House Relax playlist. Then it's a pretty safe bet for Spotify to put your track in the Mint playlist, which is the marquee playlist for all of electronic music. Getting to this stage is impressive because the bigger and bigger playlists you go to, you're competing against better and better tracks. Mint has over 5 million followers, so your track would start to get into the millions of streams at this point. If somehow you do outperform most of the other tracks at the top of your genre, you could start to get put on mainstream crossover playlists. This would be a playlist like Happy Hits that takes different genres into account based on the overall mood. The songs on these playlists do insane numbers. There's only really one step above this point. If you get on enough of these mainstream crossover playlists, then you could enter the global Spotify charts. So I'm going to show you an example with one of my own songs and the path it took, but that's the potential path for your track to becoming a global Spotify hit. There is a big problem with this for smaller artists. Because the algorithm needs to keep people on the platform as long as possible, it's always going to go with the safest bets. It's going to go with the most established artists with the biggest past releases. It's still pretty hard to break out in the system as a smaller artist. But let me show you one of my own songs and the journey it took through this playlisting system. This is my track, This Place Unknown, which has around 5 million plays. And we can look at the playlisting data on Spotify for Artists to track its journey. So the onboarding playlists my track started on were Release Radar and New Music Friday Germany. And apparently my metrics were good enough in those playlists for Spotify to start recommending the track to people in their Discover Weekly and also the Spotify radio. And because lots of people started saving my track in their Discover Weekly playlist, that kind of snowballed, and Spotify just kept on recommending it to more and more people's Discover Weekly, to the point where it got almost 500,000 plays just off Discover Weekly alone. So from there, my track made the progression to a more genre-specific playlist called Deep House Delight. After that, it made its way onto a bigger genre-specific playlist called 360 Dance. And then it ended up on Mint Canada, which I was excited about, because if it did well enough there, it could potentially make it onto the main Mint playlist, which would be like the holy grail. But it didn't make the cut, and it never got above that point. So that's where that track's journey ended. Peace. Nothing can touch the divine I have inside of me. There may be more.